Hello everyone, I am Dr. KEERTHIKA, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce CA and PG Department of Commerce, Nirmala College for Women, Coimbatore. In this video, we are going to calculate purchase consideration under net asset method. This is very important calculation for amalgamation, absorption and external reconstruction chapter. So before we getting into the calculation of purchase consideration, we'll see what is amalgamation, absorption and external reconstruction. Amalgamation. When two or more existing companies combine together to form a new company, will be a amalgamation. All combining companies are liquidated, they form together and they will create a new company is floated to take over their business. So this is the amalgamation meaning. Next we are going to see about the absorption. When one existing company takes over the business of one or more existing companies, it will be the absorption. So the companies whose business is taken over or liquidated, no new company is formed. So both the thing will be the existing companies. Next one is external reconstructions. When an existing company is liquidated and a new company is formed with the same shareholder to take over its business, then it is a external reconstruction. Sick companies with accumulated losses usually undergo such reconstructions. So this is the meaning of amalgamation, absorption and external reconstruction. So now we are going to calculate purchase consideration under the net asset method. So here is a one problem is given. Following is a balance sheet of SAMI Limited as on 31/3/2014 is given, and the liabilities is given, assets is also given. So in this problem we are going to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset method. So for calculating the purchase consideration under net asset method, we have a formula. So purchase consideration is equal to assets taken over minus liabilities taken over. So we are going to take all the assets and the liabilities. So for calculating the purchase consideration, we will be using the net asset method, will be the excess of value of assets taken over by the purchasing company over the value of liabilities taken over. That is, this purchase consideration will be calculated, which I have already told you the formula. Purchase consideration is equal to assets taken over minus liabilities taken over. So assets is given in this problem, they have given the assets and the liabilities. So this is a problem which the Raw Meal Limited agreed to take over the business of SAMI Limited. So this Raw Meal Limited is going to take over the business of SAMI Limited. So in such case, so they are going to absorb the SAMI Limited. So for that they will be taking all the assets and liabilities for purchase consideration. So that only we are going to do now. So for calculating the purchase consideration, we are going to do with net asset method. Okay, so assets taken over minus liabilities taken over. So before we calculating it, we will not be taking the all the assets. We will be ignoring the fictitious assets, because we will be taking only the fixed assets, investment and the current assets. As well as under the liability side, we will not be taking any preference shares or equity shares or general reserve. So those kind of items will be calculated while calculating the purchase consideration under net payment method. That time we will be taking the preference shares, equity shares. But while calculating purchase consideration under net asset method, we will be taking only the consideration of assets minus liabilities. Even though assets will be taking only the fixed assets, current assets, not the fictitious assets. Fictitious assets will be ignored completely. Okay, so we'll do the problem now, and there is additional information is also given here. calculate purchase consideration under net assets method on the basis of the following. So what are the instructions which is given? Romi Limited agreed to discharge 7% debentures at a premium of 10% by issuing 9% debentures of Romi Limited. So in the balance sheet they have given it as 7% debentures, but the Romi Limited is agreed to discharge 7% debentures at a premium of 10% by issuing 9% debentures of Romi Limited. And the second one is, in fixed assets are to be valued at 10% above book value, and the investment at par, current assets at 10% discount, and current liabilities at book value. So these are all the information which is given for calculating the purchase consideration under the net asset method. So we have to consider these informations while calculating it. So this is the a solution which I have already done it. I'll explain it to you how I have calculated. So here the fixed assets should be taken because value of assets taken over minus liabilities taken over, that is a formula for the purchase consideration. So for calculating this, fixed assets is given in the balance sheet. So how much is that? 6,25,000. So for this there is additional information is given it as fixed assets ought to be valued at 10% above book value. So if it is above book value, in sense we have to increase the book value, which is we have to increase the fixed assets values at 10% level. So which mean to say that the value is 16,25,000. The value of fixed assets got increased into 10%. So how much is the 10% of 16,25,000? It is 1,62,500. So it is a value got increased. So we are going to add the amount of 1,62,500 with the fixed assets value. So the real value of fixed assets is 17,87,500. Next we are calculate the investment. So the investment is given it as the investment at par. So as it is, which is given already in the question, is 3 lakhs. So that 3 lakhs should be mentioned here. Next one is current assets. What is the current assets adjustment is given? Current assets at 10% discount. So if it is all discounted, it will be getting reduced. So in such case 10% of value of current assets got decreased. So how much is the current assets? 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 into 10% is 25,000. So that should be deducted with the current assets. 2,50,000 minus 25,000. How much will get? 2,25,000. So add, there is no any other item which is given in the asset side. So add all the total assets, which is 23,12,500. This is the total assets. Next we are going to calculate the liabilities. So liabilities taken over. So what are the liabilities which is given in the balance sheet? So debentures is given, current liability is given. So debentures is 7% debentures, that is 3,50,000. But in the adjustment, Romi Limited agreed to discharge 7% debentures at a premium of 10%. So this is a premium of 10%. So for calculating the debentures, 3,50,000. So 3,50,000 into 10%, because the 10% of premium of 7% debentures. So 3,50,000 plus 35,000 will get 3,85,000. Okay. So the current liabilities is also given in the balance sheet at book value. So which is book value in sense which is already given in the balance sheet. The same amount which is going to taken in the calculation. So 2,50,000. So current liability is 2,50,000. That is all as it is. We are going to calculate it 2,50,000. So add these two debentures and current liabilities, will get 6,35,000. Okay, so we got the total assets and also we got the liabilities also. So how much is the total assets? 23,12,500 and the liability is 3,35,000. So if we deduct the total assets minus liabilities, we will be getting 16,77,500 as the purchase consideration under net asset method. Okay, so we have seen about how to calculate the net asset how to calculate the purchase consideration under net asset method. Okay, so we will be calculating only assets taken over minus liabilities taken over. Okay, so kindly noted, we will not be taking the fictitious assets, and we will not be taking the preference shares, equity shares, or general reserve for calculating purchase consideration under net asset method, because all these kind of items will be taken only at the calculation of purchase consideration under net payment method, not in the net asset method. Okay, so we will be taking only the assets and the liabilities. Okay, the assets also, fictitious assets should be completely ignored. Okay, I hope now you are understood about the net asset method calculation and purchase consideration under net asset method. Thank you.